Good day, everyone. I hope I can be heard, and it might be a little bit noisy today, but I'm sure you'll be able to hear me. And go through some settings before we proceed. Okay, now I'll be going through one more setting before we just start right away. I'll be checking it on a different device to see how it sounds. Okay, I think we're ready to go. So let me share the screen so we can see. Okay. Yeah. Okay. The name of this project is called the Blend Project, and basically we're going to be telling you about it and giving you introductions on the components and the abilities that this cryptocurrency has. Okay, now first of all, we'll be talking about the history. We'll be talking about the history of how this was gotten, how the inspiration for this project was gotten. Okay, I read. During the reign of Constantine the Great, the Roman Empire was in a deep economic crisis, and Constantine the Great solved the problem of the economic crisis by carrying out a set of measures to reform the monetary system of the Roman Empire and introducing a new currency, which is the solid. The essence of the solid was related to its high quality and constant unchangeable weight, which made it possible to exchange these coins for any other, as well as non-ferrous metals, primarily gold. So basically, during the reign of Constantine the Great, there was an economic crisis, and this economic crisis was able to make the economy not to be balanced, like making it imbalanced. And Constantine being the ruler at that time, he had to introduce a solution to this, and I was able to solve this problem. He introduced a new monetary system, which was known as the solid. And basically, the solid was a metal, like it's a metal of where the characteristics was shown. It was written here, and says that. It was a non-ferrous metal, which is primarily gold. Like basically, it's a metal, and because of the abilities and properties that this coin was able, or this currency was able to have and hold and keep, it was able to solve the problem of the monetary crisis during the Roman Empire. Okay, now what are the qualities that this currency had? Okay, reading. It says, in today's understanding, solid acted as a kind of gold standard, and the name solid comes from the Latin word solidus, which means solid, durable, and massive. And it was the strength of the solid that was the result uh, of the fact that the solid was the main monetary unit of Rome and later of Byzantium for 700 years. So one of the main features about it is that it's solid, like physically, it's durable, like the qualities remain the way it is, and it's massive, that's in size. So one main reason at which this was able to solve the problems of the Roman crisis during the time of Constantine was that this particular currency maintained its characteristics. So if it was this price, it remained at this price, it was never fluctuating. It was always the way it was. And because of this advantage, it was used as the currency in Byzantium for 700 years, and also other countries. As we read on, we'll be able to see that other countries and continents also adapted to this new form and that took it to their own system. Due to the high standard, which remained almost unchanged until the fall of Constantinople, solid had a significant impact on the minting of gold coins in neighboring countries. Now, briefly about cryptocurrencies. Today, although gold has a certain value, but from the point of view of modern economic theory, it is only an additional tool that ensures the stability of the economy. And the reform of Constantine the Great are a kind of prototype for the creation of modern cryptocurrencies. At the World Economic Forum in 2016, the complete displacement of paper money by cryptocurrencies was predicted. Many researchers note that this process is in some way irreversible, and cryptocurrency is strong because it does not depend much on the global economy. So this is basically telling you, like, this is the basic difference of what the currency, like the physical currency, the paper money which we all use, which the entire world is involved in, and the cryptocurrency. They said that there was an experiment or a research taken in 2016, and the researchers were able to notice that in future, paper money will become displaced. Like the paper money which everyone uses will become displaced and less useful. And many reasons for that. Like over here, there's a strong reason which says cryptocurrency is strong because it does not depend much on the global economy. For every country, every paper money you use, it depends on the government and solely on the government. So whatever happens in your country, if it's bad or if it's good, it's only going to be affecting your government. It's going to be affecting your currency and your financial system at that time. So the government is like the one having a larger leadership over the financial system of your country. But with the cryptocurrency space, no one knows it. It's something that's general and everyone has their hand in it. Everyone has the ability to take part of whatever part they want to take. So that's the main difference of it. And another main difference, speaking about the physical aspect of why paper money will be less useful and cryptocurrency will be faster and everyone wants to take it. You can see the transactions you want to make online these days. We're already into it. We're already into the digital space. I will know that these days you want to order something online, and most times it's not in your country, but you want to get it. So sometimes you have to order you have to order abroad. And how do you pay for things like this when you have this currency? Like in my country, it has to take a long step. If it was the old times, you have to go to the bank with a particular amount and deposit it in your account and talk to the people in the bank. They have to go through some verifications. After that, they will change the money, like convert the money, and converting the money, there are also percentages for them, so they are having their profit. And also after they convert the money, then they send it to the person, and basically you have to like put extra. So after the conversion, you're still remaining the exact balance you have to send to the person or send to the account. It's a very long process, but these days it's becoming easier. That just with your bank card over the world, you can actually make transactions, and your products or your goods that you have ordered will come straight to like a rendezvous or a place you have already said this is where we're gonna meet. And because of this, with the world seeing now things will go easier, the presence of paper money will be less useful. Like people will use paper money lessly, and people will be more involved in the cryptocurrency space. Okay, a cryptocurrency cannot be stolen, devalued, or denominated by a state. I explained this before, that the government of the country cannot control it. The only one controlling the particular coin is you as the owner. And modern cryptocurrency is in some way solid that meets modern economic requirements. So it's basically saying that the solid during the Constantine time is like the physical one. It has the ability to maintain its characteristics. But the cryptocurrency is the virtual space, the one in the blockchain. It's not something you see physically, but it also has the ability, like the solid, like keeping its characteristics and not changing and remaining the same. A minute. Okay. Moving on. The future of cryptocurrencies. The modern world is faced with an unprecedented level of unpredictability crisis related to coronavirus infection, which continues to this day. And the pandemic will continue. The pandemic will end, but the world community must inevitably solve the problems associated with the restoration of the global financial system. Uh, I explained this before that most times when there's an economic crisis in a state or a country, there are factors that usually cause it. Most times it's bad situations that actually happen in the state, or sometimes it's diseases or pandemics. But in this situation now, we're talking about like what we all notice, like this generation now. We're able to notice that in the I think the last 2 to 3 years ago, 2019 to stroke 2020, there was a pandemic which was called the COVID-19 coronavirus. And because of this, we had to stay home. There was a lockdown so as the virus does not spread. Uh, that's also to reduce the spreading of the virus, and also speaking like living the earth aspect right now, let's talk about the financial aspect. During that time, a lot of people couldn't work, and it was very hard means for them to be able to gain money for themselves. And also, speaking of the financial aspect, the country at that moment that experienced COVID-19 impact, the country at that moment was experiencing imbalance. Like afterwards, the financial system was imbalanced. Like in my country, I usually say there was a lot of increase in prices of basic commodities, things you could buy at very cheap rates. Like a child couldn't buy it with its lunch money, but because of the COVID-19 outbreak and afterwards, the aftermath of it, everything was so high in price. So this is saying that we as humans that live on this planet, we experience unpredicted crisis, and most times we don't know what's going to happen the next month. But what are we going to do if there's something that's unexpected? So if there's something in economics called the miscellaneous, and miscellaneous, I think miscellaneous cash, that's the kind of money you keep in case there's an event you never expected and you have to pay, and the money has to speak. So what do we do when a thing happens in our state and we're not ready for it? But what do we prepare in case things like this happen? That's what brings us into the topic, the future of the cryptocurrency. One of the solutions to such problems is the development of cryptocurrency market and the widespread introduction of the ability to pay with it in a variety of countries, both in cash and digital money. As states cannot take such a step, otherwise they will become disconnected from the world economy. And if we analyze the history of Solid, we can see that this coin has long been the main one not only in Europe but also in Asia, and its importance in many ways predetermined the development of financial system, not only in Rome but also in other countries. As I was saying before, in the first one way to solve this problem of financial crisis after pandemics or after disadvantageous events in a state, one way to solve the problem is introduction of cryptocurrency space. Basically, the introduction of cryptocurrency space will be able to make the economy smoother in terms of transactions between countries, transactions between companies, and it will increase the speed, it will increase the credibility, and with that ability, with that aspect of the financial system of the state will always boost higher because credibility and transparency is one thing that makes a business or let me speak in a company aspect or a company boost. With the presence of credibility, there's always a presence of trust. Okay, I hope you understand that. Okay, over here speaking about the solid which was introduced in Constantine's time. Afterwards, he says that countries in Europe and the Asian countries also adapted to this new form of money. So, as I was explaining before, not only Rome enjoyed this currency system, other countries also adapted to it because the moment they realized it was very useful, they are going to adapt to it and add it to their system. Okay, the main idea in this case is to increase reinforcement and confidence in a particular currency. It is the cryptocurrency that acts as an innovative tool that cannot only stop inflation but also provide an unprecedented increase in cost. So basically, cryptocurrency does not just stop inflation, but it also gives you as the owner a percentage of profit. I'm not talking about the paper money or scenery that we came about. The The modern financial system is a model of relationships based on trust, and the history of modern finance began in 1347 in Florence, and it was the year of the outbreak of the Black Plague. And this was the beginning of the economic crisis to get out of which people had to reform the monetary system and create a new type of money, which is the fiat money, which is from the Latin word proclamation of ambition. So basically, during the time of Florence, there was also an economic crisis at that time. As I was saying, there's usually something that's happening to make the economy not balance. So with this, the people had to find a solution to it. So they had to create a new monetary system, which is known as the fiat money. Fiat money is basically like the government of a country or state saying, giving the order, like there's an order that this amount of money should be printed, this amount of money shouldn't be printed. They have the control over the amount of money that's printed in a country. That's what fiat means basically. So it was first introduced in Florence in 1347, and ever since then, this is what the world has been using until now, even with the presence of cryptocurrency space, so it's still resisting. Okay, moving on. It was during the years of the terrible epidemic that society agreed with the proclamation of the status of paper money as a means of payment. The production of paper claims has turned into a business whose name is seigniorage. So basically, it's a business run by the government of the state and the country, and it's called seigniorage. Seigniorage is the income received by the issuer of money or the right of ownership, and the seigniorage business consisted of minting coins from the customer's materials, where as payment for the work performed, the senior keeps part of the material for himself. So there's always a transaction between a person and another person, and the one in charge of this seigniorage is called a senior, and basically the other person is called a customer. Okay.